Hello, and a very warm welcome to Lesson 1 of this 10-day course on the Reiki Precepts for Peace and Connection. My name is Keziah Gibbons. I'm a Reiki Master and the author of a book on the Reiki Precepts. I'm also very happy to be a teacher here on Insight Timer. Before we go any further, I want to assure you, if you've found yourself listening to this, but you're not yet familiar with Reiki, that's fine. This course is for everybody. If you are someone who already practices Reiki, you may find that this course is a useful support for deepening your practice and your own connection with the Reiki energy. Imagine that you are climbing a sacred mountain, searching for that place at the top where you are so connected to the ground beneath you and all the world around, and so open to the peace and clarity that comes with that. A good map will provide you with an idea of how to get to the top of that sacred mountain. But the map is meaningless without your own hard work in scaling the mountain, navigating obstacles. And reaching the top is meaningless without your own presence and appreciation of where you are and what it took to get there. All becomes easier with the right equipment, guidance, and practice. And when you put all these elements together, you can find that mountaintop with ease. And you may even begin to notice that the mountaintop is with you, even on the lower ground. So, let's dive in. What then are the Reiki Precepts? A precept, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, is a general rule intended to regulate behaviour or thought. And the Reiki Precepts are kind of like guidelines for life, as written down by the founder of Reiki, Mikao Usui, in the early 20th century. And passed down within the Reiki community from teacher to student. This is what the original document said, translated from the Japanese by Maria Meinitz. The secret prayer of inviting happiness. The miracle medicine against all illness. Today only. Do not get angry. Do not worry. Be grateful. Work diligently. Be kind towards people. Every morning and evening, fold your hands together and recite from your heart. Chant from your mouth. Mind and body, improvement. Usui Reiki Ryoho, the name of the organization, which literally translates as Usui Reiki treatment. Originator, Usui Mikao. Traditionally, the middle part of that is the most focused on, and this course will follow that tradition, with a lesson focused on each of, just for today, do not anger, do not worry, be grateful, be honest, and be compassionate, with some extra space given to self-compassion because it is so important. Before all that, we'll spend tomorrow's lesson on interpreting the precepts as a whole, and particularly in how they can be applied in your own life, towards your own outcomes. By the end of the course, you'll have spent enough time reflecting on and practicing each of the precepts to have a thorough understanding of them. And you may already be noticing shifts in how you are and how your life is as a result of this. My own experience is that the Reiki precepts are a key to finding more peace, calm, and connection. Being clearer as to what emotions belong to you and what you may have been taking on unnecessarily, and a greater appreciation for life. So just to give you a little context for where these precepts come from, I'll say a few words about Reiki itself. Reiki literally means universal life force energy. This is the essence of Reiki, and it's what we work with when we do Reiki in any way. Reiki is passed on from teacher to student by an in-person ritual ceremony which opens the student to the Reiki energy, allowing them to become a channel for Reiki and to use it for healing. A practitioner of Reiki learns to allow the Reiki energy to flow through them. Healing is a fundamental part of Reiki, being both an effect and a purpose. Channeling or receiving Reiki energy helps to stimulate a person's natural healing ability, sometimes having spectacular results in resolving long-term issues, sometimes more gently, simply improving a person's experience. Healing is what Reiki does, and it is perhaps best known as a kind of complementary therapy. But Reiki is not just about giving treatments. A rounded Reiki practice will also involve self-healing, meditating, mindfulness, and following the Reiki Precepts. The Reiki Precepts can be seen as a theoretical part of Reiki, where the channeling of energy is the practice. And of course, the practice of the precepts is a part of Reiki in itself. When practicing the Reiki Precepts, we not only improve the experience of life for ourselves and those around us, an important effect in itself, but we by default become more strongly connected to the Reiki, the universal life force energy, which we live out through the precepts. We become ourselves an expression of Reiki. In this course, we'll be experiencing the gifts that connecting to the Reiki Precepts can give us, without connecting to the Reiki energy. If the energy is something you'd like to experience, I'd recommend trying a treatment or taking a course with a local practitioner. Reiki itself was developed in the early 20th century in Japan by a teacher by the name of Mikao Usui. Originally developed as a spiritual practice for personal development and self-healing, the healing benefits of Reiki as a treatment were soon recognized. In the last century, Reiki has come through a lot of different teachers, and at one point seems to have been an oral tradition with very little written down. It has also been taught throughout the world by people from plenty of different cultures, which is fantastic, and also means that we have many different versions of Reiki as it has grown and evolved. Some of these traditions are more dogmatic and complicated, some are less. But for me, a useful assumption to make is that each is of value and that there is no single correct tradition. My own Reiki story begins somewhere in the first year or two of this millennium, when I was invited on a Reiki course that was taking place just down the road from me. I had no idea what to expect, but took up the invitation. I still remember the power in that light-filled house, the resonance, the feeling as I was attuned to Reiki. Sensational. Noticing the beautiful pink skies in the evenings, as if a dome of positive energy were covering the earth. Noticing rainbows and beauty more often. Life gets in the way sometimes, and although for a short time after taking the course I did practice my self-healing, and did a couple of treatments for others, I soon got carried away with misspending my youth, and Reiki fell by the wayside. I hardly thought about it for years. In 2012, I started chemotherapy treatment for hepatitis C. The treatment was experimental and incredibly harsh. I could not support my own weight. I needed a mobility scooter to get around, and I was unable to pick up my daughter, who was then 2. My mental health was shot, and I hardly knew what day of the week it was. But because I'd had that experience with Reiki years before, I knew where to turn for help. I started seeing a local Reiki healer every Monday. The treatments did not replace the medication, nor did they clear the side effects completely. But they did prove the difference between being able to tolerate the chemo for the necessary 6 months and giving up early as a result of the side effects. From the first time I had visited John, when I had needed help to crawl up the stairs to his treatment room, to the last time that I visited him, where I could walk up those stairs with energy and enthusiasm, was a marked difference. I also noticed that my mental and emotional state was much better on a Monday after Reiki. I was able to smile, breathe, communicate better, and even sleep after having my treatments. I knew that this was a gift, and looking back, I can see that period as a reset point in my life. When I finished my chemo, I went back and retook my Reiki 1, establishing a daily practice and moving through, eventually, to Reiki Master. These were the first steps in an incredible journey of healing and alignment that has brought me here to teach this course today. So welcome to the course. Tomorrow, you'll hear a little more about the precepts themselves, their essence and meaning, and how you can keep that essence and meaning while creating a practice that is in tune with your own unique life. Thank you so much for your presence. I look forward to meeting with you then. Have a wonderful day.